Do we want to dive into topics first?
Yeah, we're going to get to Judkins because Austin's not here yet because we got to get into that. So
bad deal, wasn't it? Like I just heard some late breaking info. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it seems like there might be a little bit. I guess the alleged report was filed 5 days after the incident.
Yes.
Oh,
that's usually a red flag. I mean, it's. I'm not quite sure why the delay. We've been through these a lot. G, you've seen these a lot. Here's my not good to start with.
Yeah.
Certainly not a way to start making Browns fans forget about Nick Chubb.
Right.
But all that being said, I'm going to wait. I want more details.
Sure.
Because we've seen these go both ways, where there was something,
right,
and you didn't think there was. And we've seen them go someplace where there isn't anything and you thought there might be. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
I'll say this, though. If this ends up being legit, it's kind of becoming a track record for the Browns.
Very much so.
There was a stretch. Yeah. There was a stretch where it felt like the Bengals were always getting players arrested. What was that, the 90s, I think? I can't remember the exact timeline.
The Pac-Man Jones days.
Yeah. And even before that, Chris Henry and all those. Yep. It seemed like everybody, and the Bengals had that reputation for being the team with a lot of problemed players.
Now we have it.
And now the Browns, it's just like, again, we do have to let it play out.
Sure.
We don't want to lump them in yet, but.
I thought it was, because I was over the weekend and came out. My inbox got crazy. I said, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
And I looked around and then some people had some different things. And this came out and it said it's called a delayed battery report. The alleged incident happened on July 7th after a victim had left the airport but did not report in Saturday, according to the records revealed during Judkins' bond hearing. According to court records, the victim and Judkins came to South Florida as friends, but after the alleged incident happened, she stayed with him in Fort Lauderdale for 5 additional days and celebrated her birthday. It was not until after the victim reported the incident, court records revealed, around 9 a.m. Saturday, Fort Lauderdale police said that in response to the area near 1500 West Cypress Creek Road regarding a delayed battery. Upon arrival, officers spoke with the victim and determined a battery had taken place during the preliminary investigation. So
obviously they found, they clearly thought there was something.
Yeah, the layers of the judicial system. First, it's the police on the scene.
Yeah.
They have to, with their own eyeballs and their own interrogations, come to the conclusion that it is more likely than not that a crime had been committed.
Right.
Then it goes to a judge, which I'm surprised actually listened to the case yesterday. And I didn't really realize that
on
Florida operated like that. Man, you got in front of a judge on a Sunday?
Hey,
okay.
In college, they said, listen, if you go to jail on Saturday night,
see you Monday. Yeah. Right. So what's interesting to me was the original reporting officers investigated and felt that it rose to the level of a crime. Yeah. It was then that he was arrested, went before a judge yesterday, and that judge also believes that there was a crime. So that's two layers of the system. Yeah. So I tend to believe more likely than not something happened. My question is, the alleged incident happened on the 7th. You reported it on the 12th, I believe. Mm-hmm. And between that time, you celebrated your birthday with the alleged victim, or with the alleged suspect. That to me, I've got questions. The judge, I'm sure, did too.
Yeah.
And they must have been answered to where he felt that it rose to the level of a crime.
I mean, I don't know that we can't get inside the head of a woman who may have been, injured or whatever. You never know what's going on and what their relationship is like. So who knows? All I know from a football perspective, obviously, if he's found guilty, well, I don't even know if he has to be found guilty. If the NFL investigation shows
you're right,
he's guilty, he's going to get suspended.
In the eyes of the league, he's guilty.
Yeah. And so if he does get suspended, it's probably going to be something like 6 games.
Let's say it is, Bull, just for the sake of this discussion.
Right.
You go back a couple of years with Perrion Winfrey.
Right.
Just go back last year with Michael Hall.
Yeah.
And it's a little concerning too that they're both, the last two are Buckeyes.
Yeah.
We have discussed on this show at length for the last 3 years the track record of Andrew Berry, notwithstanding the off the field issues. We've just talked about the players that he's brought in.
Right.
I think we're all in agreement. We're like in the D category. I don't even have him at a C. I don't even know that I have him as a C.
It's definitely not good enough.
He's got very, very few hits. He's got a lot of misses.
That's true.
When you pile this onto those misses, so you're not bringing in duds. You're bringing in duds that have handcuffs. That's horrible. That's a bad look.
And I don't know about you guys, but I had, like, to me, and again, maybe this will all, nothing will happen. Maybe Judkins will be completely cleared and he's going to play. But before this incident, I felt more confident about Judkins making an impact faster than any other player they drafted.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's at that position.
At that position, right. It's harder for a defensive tackle 100%. To make that impact right away.
He was almost a first rounder. He was the fourth pick of the second round.
Right, exactly.
And he could play. Like,
he's a good player. I mean, it was unlikely to be a bust and still is unlikely to be a bust.
Right, I agree.
I always, like I said, I'll wait to get the information. It seems like this is just part of the program. Like if you want to get into the business and you're in Cleveland, learn how to talk about arrest, suspensions, and how to move.
Civics.
Figure it out. Then you can know how to maneuver. But, it's crazy because by all intents and purposes, Mike Hall Jr. and Quinshon Judkins had no issues that we know of at Ohio State. Zero.
That's true.
No, I saw that there were some online folks that were asking, is Ohio State granting enough access to the pro scouts? Ohio State runs things their way on their pro day, their access to players. It's very difficult to get behind that curtain. I don't know that I'm just speculating here based on some things that I read over the weekend. Is it possible that Ohio State isn't providing the access that a lot of these teams need to these players? Now, I know once they leave the university, it's up to the player and the agent.
Yeah.
Right.
To who they talk to, how much they talk, what kind of access they have. But I know when the school holds the pro days, they kind of set the itinerary. And the pro scouts have a certain thing that they're looking for, and they want certain drills that to happen. But I don't know that this is standard protocol. I don't know if the Buckeyes give less access to their players. I'm not sure. But the fact that it's 2, and by all accounts, like you said, no red flags on these guys coming in.
Right, that we know of. Yeah.
Jay, I think if you look at the broader picture of society or how we are now, more than ever, you have to be very solid on who you interact with or put in your circle.
100%.
You have to be, and now, I try to tell people because it's a reality for myself and a lot of people. There's certain things that you would do before that you're like, oh, that's harmless. But now it's a world where not only just athletes. I mean, you look at the number of celebrities have just been household names that are on trial or doing different things. So, obviously the NFL Symposium talks about these things. They talk about it all the time. Hey, you meet somebody, you have to really truly know who you are talking to, who are you in relationships with, because you really do have to protect yourself. And at the end of the day, that's one of the things that you have to watch about.
It's almost like a marriage, guys. When you join and become associated with an entity, whether it's WKYC or it's the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, our names now are married.
Yeah.
And the same thing with a pro athlete. When all of these players join that organization, it's Quinshon Judkins of the Cleveland Browns. It's like a marriage. You're sharing names now.
Right.
And any father, parent tells their children, just heads up, when you leave this house, you're carrying my name. And don't besmirch my name. Don't do anything in public that you wouldn't do if I was watching. Because if it's bad, I'm going to find out.
And even if, let's say Quinshon Judkins ends up being guilty of this and he had no incidents in his past, the Browns are still going to take a hit for that. It doesn't matter. If it's another organization that is a track record clean, the organization might get a pass in that situation. Oh, bad luck, blah, blah, blah. But the Browns are not going to get a pass, nor should they. If
you've got to do your due diligence. You have to sit down with these players, and when you interview them, you have to back to the point I just brought up about you're sharing names. When you're sitting down with prospective athletes that you're considering bringing into your organization, you literally have to ask them, would I bring this person into my family? Am I comfortable with this person carrying my name? That's what they're doing. They're carrying your name, and you have to be 100% sure, or as certain as you can be, that this is a better bet than not, that this person's going to come in and be a good citizen. Here's what's awful about this, guys, and I brought it up earlier. What's awful about this is he's not just the face of the running back room. He is the guy replacing the guy. Nick Chubb was beyond reproach.
Yes.
We would never, ever. In fact, if you were asked which of the Browns players is least likely to commit an infraction that would embarrass the organization, it would have been Nick Chubb.
Without a second thought.
Not just your best player, your best citizen.
Yes.
So now, Quinshon Judkins had to have a little bit more self-awareness. Coming in that, man, I've got big shoes to fill. I've got to win these fans over one at a time. The last thing I can do is bring bad vibes to the organization through my actions off of the football field. And apparently that's what he's done. One thing before, are we going to wrap this up and get to, is Austin here?
Oh, no, we're going to get the Andrew Berry
part
of this conversation next. So,
okay. The last thing I'll say about that is this. We don't know what happened. I have seen, and you guys have too, one of the ways disputes like this are often settled is the victim will drop the charges. We've seen it many times. If I'm not mistaken, that happened in the Mike Hall Jr.
It did.
Now, there was a relationship. They were engaged, and the two of them had a much stronger and deeper relationship than Quinshon Judkins and the alleged victim in this case. One of the things that I would look for, because it just happens, is, his representatives get to her, they have a conversation. After said conversation, charges are dropped. It still doesn't take away that there was something happened. Something to a cop and to a judge rose to a level that was a crime. And so we'll proceed once we get more information on that, but certainly not a good start to his Browns career.